All right. Tool model level sets. As we all know, this stuff changes rapidly, like super fast. And with that, I'm actually also changing my tone and my position on something we've been talking about since November. One of the top two questions I get is the top question is, which tool should I use? And the second question is, should I pay for it? And we're going to talk about that second question. Should I pay for it? For months, I've been saying, don't pay for it. It'll tell you when to pay for it. They're pretty good about asking you for money at the right time. Well, the more I dive in and the more I learn, the more I realize we've actually got to change that approach. I encourage everybody to pay for these tools. There is a glaring difference between the free and the paid. And we're not going to go into the technical aspects of the differences because you don't really need to know them as long as you take my word. Just start paying for it. You're going to have a better experience. You're going to have a faster experience. You're going to be able to load more data, more context, ask harder questions, get better answers if you're paying for it. These tools are machines, they are engines. And when they give the free ones away, guess what? You're getting models from 6 months ago. You're getting models from a year ago. And the more you use the free versions, the faster they downgrade your performance. And so you may very well be using a frontier model for the first 10 minutes of your chat. And after, say, the 5th or 10th interaction that you have, you drop down a tier. And then you drop down a tier. And then let's say after maybe a day of using the same chat window on a subject, you may come back to it the next day and say, hey, we were working on that thing yesterday. Let's keep going. There's a good chance it's going to forget what you were talking about at that point. That's what the free models do, is you just have a significantly downgraded experience. And so for the $20 a month that most of these tools are, please start paying for them. To answer the question about which one should I use very quickly, I don't care which one you use. Pick one. It can be your favorite color. It can be the one that your neighbor told you to use. Honestly, it's probably going to be largely determined on if you're a Microsoft shop or a Google shop. There's your answer, Gemini or Copilot. But if you have a choice, I'm going to recommend ChatGPT or Gemini, and probably next month I'll start recommending Claude. You're going to get a copy of this deck as well. So all this little tiny text, which I'm not going to read, you'll have access to. These are all kind of the more detailed reasons or the more detailed mechanics of what happens in free versus paid for each of these tools. All right. AI maturity. Okay. So another reflection over the past few months, all of these discussions that we've been having are really for you, the individual. It's to help you advance yourself. When you advance your personal maturity with these tools, guess what? That's going to bleed into the workplace. But what we're talking about here today is you. We're not having enterprise or small business architecture, organizational level discussions. But know that that's a very important component of bringing this all together, because there's two tracks. The individual has to be capable, competent, confident in their use of these tools. Meanwhile, the business also has to be ready and comfortable and capable to allow its employees and its teams to use these tools. If they go out of whack, you just end up in an imbalanced system. And so you can think about these on two different sides, and guess what? They look pretty similar. On the individual side, you have somebody who's not using it. Maybe they even actively avoid using these tools. Then you move into dabbling. They occasionally use it. Then you have a practical user who's using this probably weekly, if not even daily. They're starting to see the benefits. Then you move into workflow builder. These are those that have realized, I found a way to use this tool for this specific thing that repeats every day or every other day. Like let's say you're one of the normal users who will write an email and then go drop it into a tool to say, hey, can you tighten this up, rewrite it? That's a regular flow. That is a workflow. When you figure out one way to use it over and over and over again to either increase the value of what you're doing or to save yourself time. And when you can find that one thing, move on to the next and move on to the next. And you end up figuring out that you have this whole pool, this whole option, this whole toolkit of ways to use AI. After that, you move into an automation mindset. This is where you start to get a little bit more advanced. You start to realize where you can string multiple tools together to make some crazy stuff happen. And after that, you turn into like somebody like me, where you're just shouting at the top of the mountain saying, look, everybody, look what you can do. Look how this helps. You have to do this today, or else you're going to be left behind. And so these are the individual ladders. The business ladders look just like it. You've got a business that's saying no, later, maybe, not for us. It's not safe. It's too risky, client data, whatever. But then you've got businesses that say, maybe we can let some people data. But wait, we're seeing the value of this. Let's actually put some frameworks and some rules in place so that people are encouraged to use this, so forth and so on. And so my point here is that you can have one or many individuals in a business, and their level of understanding of these tools is ultimately going to dictate if they use these tools in the business. But what's really going to dictate that is if the business is ready to have those people use these tools inside the business. You could have 10 of me in a business, but if the business isn't ready to handle that, well, then they're not going to get the value out of it. Or I'm going to do it outside the lines, outside the lanes, and break some rules and put some data at risk. And that's not good for anybody. And so now, who's today brought to you by? It's me. So, of course, we have to talk about this is what I do. I have two ways to support you all and your businesses here. I do individual and small group trainings, and I do business AI strategy implementation. So I can assist you with both ends of the spectrum here. For those that are trying to advance themselves personally, let's have a conversation. And for those that are trying to advance their business, their strength, their posture, their capabilities, so that their individual team members can thrive, let's have that conversation too. My individual small group class actually is we're just launching it this week. I have a handful of people asking for doing small groups. So welcome. We are here. For the first group, we're doing half off. After that, the price goes to normal pricing. These are 5-person groups that meet weekly. I'm going to give you a link to this in just a second. Totally let me know if this is anything you're interested in. And again, if you're on the business side, we do this, but at a way more advanced level.